Today, won't you? Like right now.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game while you playing with me. You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break things. You can't control me. I got the power. I got the keys, cause I break the chains.
Take your fulfillment back, cause I don't think it comes in a box. I think it shots them to here. They're fucking hacks. So look up and smell the shit hitting the fan. It's all the master plan. You want a number and that, but you don't care and you'll toss me up, cause I'll make you think. Spin right in my face and just a stupid kid with nothing but frustration. I chased and I'm not satisfied with the way that I've been lied to. There's nothing I can do by myself. Oh. I wish I wasn't alone and maybe second guess myself less. I wish I loved my home, but I feel like oil on water. Spit right in my face and put me in my place. I'm just a stupid kid with nothing but frustration. I chase and I'm not satisfied with the way that I've been lied to. There's nothing I can do by myself. use your reputation to sit down. Spit right in my face and put me in my place. I'm just a stupid kid with nothing but frustration, and I chase it. I'm not satisfied with the way that I've been lied to. There's nothing I can do by myself alone. I can't stop wondering if this is the end. Will it all be up to me? Will I have a friend? No, I can't stop wondering if this is the end. Will it all be up to me? Will I have a friend? I can't stop wondering if the sky is black. Will it all fade into blue? Just like the memory of you. We're all the same, but we talk in different ways. Just like we used to while we're staring at the sun. It waves, and you know it's not true. I won't ask you anymore. I won't ask you anymore. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. Whoa. Yeah, yeah.
Guess I'm stepped on the scene. I got greatness all in my jeans. Ain't no way that I can slow down. I'm laced up, look how I shake the ground. Can't touch the crown, but you can kiss the ring. Close your eyes and see how I live a dream. I'm too smooth, MJ with the lean. Don't be fooled, I can't with the team. This is over their heads, how high can it go? I'm too over the edge, got my eyes on the ground.
Well, well, well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it seems like my camera's not working. Hold on. Here we go. No? Maybe I need a little bit more light. Hold on. How's that? A little better? Not good still. How you guys doing tonight? How's everybody in the chat here? We got Frederick Gramont. Well, he's actually right here with me. Let me add him on here. Hold on one sec. What's up, Frederick?
Hey, Patrick. How's it going?
Dude, nice to officially meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
What are you working on there? That looks great.
Yeah, so this is a spread eagle page of my upcoming comic. So it's the middle of the book. Got a double page spread here with the hero flying over the city of Montreal. So it's coming soon.
Very nice. A Canadian superhero.
Yeah, that's right. From Quebec, the province of Quebec, where it's Montreal specifically, and it's a French-speaking area, but the comic will be in English and translated.
Good, good. You know, it's funny. I'm actually part French Canadian myself.
Yeah, I thought I heard you mention that at some point.
Yeah,
On which side?
on my dad's side.
That side. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. How you been, man? What's your life like?
Pretty good. I mean, except for today. Today was a big waste of time. I was trying to get some flats done on an illustration, and I got a technique down on a program that works super well, but for some reason, today it wouldn't work. So I ended up like wasting just hours and hours on something that should have taken me minutes.
Yeah.
Other than that, things are fine.
So is this where you got in front of here? You drew this here?
Yeah. So I did pencils and inks, and I was going to do the colors because I'm kind of crazy, but luckily last week I found a colorist that's coming on the project. So I'm going to be offloading the colors onto him because he could do a much better job than I can on the color stuff.
Nice. Well, that looks beautiful, dude. That shot, the angles on that and everything look amazing.
Why, thank you. It's all done through the use of 3D assets. I got Google Earth was my friend here. Like I got the 3D mode and actually did a screenshot and projected on the drawing table. So there's at least some human intervention at some point, but I got to have the disclaimer.
Right. What's your character's name?
So his name is Rattel. Rattel is the French word for honey badger.
Nice.
So he comes from a background of being a Bitcoiner, and the Bitcoiners, the mascot is the honey badger. Whereas Batman's got a corporation to fund all his gadgets. Well, he's just got a, F load of Bitcoin that he's stacked up.
That's actually a super unique and original idea for like a billionaire playboy, if you will.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Except he's coming straight out of prison. So he's been locked away for 10 years, and he's been keeping his money in his head for the whole time. And then he comes out, and then he has to start a anonymous life of crime fighting, if you will.
That's awesome. So when he's in jail, that's what's the motivator for him to start his fight against crime?
Yeah, kind of, because that's where he learns kind of the techniques of the bad guys, but he's got a good heart, so he's going to use those techniques for good in a way. But he does have contacts with the underworld.
Very cool. Dude, I had no idea you were so ridiculously talented. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me bring on, we got Dr. Ben here. What's up, Dr. Ben?
Yo, what's going on?
Hey.
You're coming out. You're doing your launch.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And Frederick Dumont is here.
Hey, nice to see you, Dr. Ben.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Frederick Dumont, an official member of the Comicsgate Commandos and one of the mods in the chat. And yeah. So honestly, Frederick, I mean, this is your cherry's been popped now. If you ever want to come on the Commandos, you can just do it now.
Awesome. I will clip this out and use it as proof in the future.
Yes. And Dr. Ben, I want to apologize for my friend Pumpkin Man last night. Obviously, I can't tell people his real name because he's too busy fighting the statist pigs in Russia.
Right.
But he also was interested in that Alan Moore subject. But the theme of the stream was something different. So if you'd like to talk about that tonight, I'm sure. I mean, Pumpkin Man's gone. He had to go back to Moscow, but I'd love to talk about that.
It seemed like he was just out in maybe a bunker or something.
Yeah. He was down. See, the thing is in Phenomenon, the rebels live outside. Like they live in this area of the city that's been abandoned due to radiation and things such and such. You know how it is. And so they live down there in the secret metro. And that's a reference for Metro 2033 fans. If there's anybody out there.
I see. And you were hanging out with King. You were hanging out with Rob Hunter this morning.
Yeah.
That was in the chat. That's what I'm saying. I was in there like trying to keep keep it all wrangled together, like timing people out, taking mutant people,
It was a good time with Katie. I'm glad she had me on there. And Rob is getting close here. Let me check. Let's see where Rob's at right now. He's on the Comicsgate Kings right now. So let's see if that's made any movement on old Death Raider. Let's see here. Right. 30K. We're at 30K, ladies and gentlemen. 3128. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Anybody who has not backed this, I would highly recommend backing this.
I did that earlier. That's what I'm saying. Like I think I was. Oh, I was sharing the stuff on my phone. Is how I was doing it.
You're a little quiet, Dr. Ben. If you could pump
Am I?
your volume up a bit. Yeah, very cool. Nice. We're at 30K with this already. That's very cool. The Death Malin. That's been making a lot of moves here. The Death Malin.
That's dope.
Here. Yeah.
I think I just didn't have it. Is that better?
That's much better. Yeah. Thank you.
I think I have to be like right there. Like if I'm over here, or if I start to get a little bit of fire, and I'm constant. That's how I constantly am. I'm just like, whoa.
So this has nothing to do with John Malin, right? Death Malin, different Malin.
Yeah, completely unrelated. The wolf symbol is, it's got nothing to do with John Malin's wolf.
But it's by John, right? The John Malin picture, right? Or no?
Oh no.
What?
No, that's all Rob.
That's.
At least I'm nearly 100% sure that this is all Rob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or no, that's the. I thought that was maybe is that the holofoil or something or other, right? Isn't that what
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a hollow foil card, and then I think Rob wants to do a mini comic for it if he gets enough backers.
Trying to find. I've got the link for his Rob's thing here. I'm trying to find it on
His what thing?
the link for Rob Hunter's Indiegogo. Unless you already have it, or what you have
It's up right now. Oh, I should just post it in the chat. You're right. I'm dumb. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's what I was trying to do. I want to post it down in the.
There it is, folks. Lord Otter, and Billy Bobsack, welcome, and Maryland Cookies also welcome. And if you guys have not backed Death Raider right now on Indiegogo, you should go do that. This is your last chance. Tonight it's closing out. Depending on how things go, we might have Rob on the channel as well. We'll see what happens. But yeah. And well, I might as well just get into it, shall I? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, 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 very extremely excited to present to you Phenomenal Tales #1 Minotaur. Now, this comic book came to me, like I have a Phenomenon comic magazine. That's my current ongoing series. And it's the storytelling's more like Attack on Titan or Game of Thrones, if you've ever watched any of those, where it's a more long form story with kind of a ensemble cast. And I realized that doing an ensemble cast like that, where you have several main characters that are important, would be a little rough on the comic book demographic, the people who buy comic books normally. Here we got Sleeping Psychopathy. What's up, Sleeping Psychopathy? Didn't get a notification. What in the ass? Well, at least you're here now. So thanks for coming in, dog. But I realized that because my comic book is not based off of one character. Obviously, I have people that I'll show, to be like the face, I guess, of the campaign. So like last time it was Pumpkin Man was the face of the campaign. And this time it's Minotaur. But that's because this book is about Minotaur. But generally speaking, the Phenomenon comic magazine story is a lot more in depth. And so it's not one of those things where there's one character. It's just a bunch of them. And so I felt like people would be a little, I guess the word is blue-balled by reading one issue of Phenomenon and being like, well, I like this character, but who is he or she? And like, why do they do what they do? And why do they think what they think? And I also really had this desire to write one issue, one story comic books where you could kind of wrap up the whole story, in an issue and then move on with your life. And it was not only was it a test for me, my writing ability to see if I can do that, but it was also just like it opens up so many doors for me to tell cool stories within the universe that I've created, because I've spent a long time making this universe, and there's many things that are already all detailed out. And so it's fun to be able to like tell people that instead of the drip feed, kind of like you figure it out from dialogue during the mainline story issue. So I'm really excited. Phenomenon here. Phenomenal Tales #1. This one is actually drawn by a different artist than Phenomenon. This is Claudio Sepulveda. He's a really great artist. I've really been very pleased working with him. He's taken the layouts that I've given him and he's returned them to me pretty much one for one, except he's made them look good. And maybe later I'll have an example of that, of how what my drawing looks like versus his. But it really was a test for me of being able to tell the story within 24 pages, you know, kind of putting because for the last comic book, I just kind of was like, all right, well, how many pages can I afford to have drawn for this issue? But for this one, I was like, I'm cutting it at 24 and I've got to fit this whole story inside 24, like the bygone days of old. And so that's what I've done. And all these layouts here I did myself, and we'll see how people think I did there. That's actually a big thing that I'm really excited. Once people get this comic book, I'm totally open to criticism, and I'm totally open to people telling me like, okay, so maybe this was a little cluttered, or maybe this was, you know, too simple, or I know it's a little simple, these layouts right here. I know there's a lot of artists like John Malin. Go ahead.
Just blow up bigger. Can you make the page so that like the page just takes up the whole screen? I don't know if you can. Sometimes you can't do that, like with the zooming in on the art. But like sometimes if you.
Yes, let me. I'll have to stop presenting that and present this here.
I mean, it looks really good. I mean, you know, like I can't. Yeah, look at that, like demon dog things, eating people.
Yeah. These are called radmonsters. They're just irradiated animals. So kind of like Fallout. If you guys ever played Fallout.
Oh, for sure.
That's generally the idea of the radmonsters there. And I should say too, excuse me, that while I was on Katie's stream, they were talking about, you know, comic books that are appropriate for younger viewers. This one isn't. I should have specified that.
So the rad monsters are the good guys killing the communists, if I understand correctly.
See, and therein lies the rub. A great question, Frederick. A fantastic question. So in my comic book, I mean, Frederick, you and Dr. Ben, obviously, you guys have been here. You've listened to my rants about things. You know that I despise Marxism in every form. At the same time, I'm a purist when it comes to the art form. So the way I've written all the commies and all the non-commies in every one of my books is I just write them as people first and foremost. So we all know that, you know, communism is a horrible, horrible ideology that has killed millions upon millions of people, more people than the Holocaust supposedly killed. I didn't mean to say supposedly there, but it slipped out. And clipped.
I could share a quote. I found a quote you'd like in this Ripper. This book with Jack.
Yeah, find that real quick. So yeah, I like to present these things as you get to decide who you think is evil and who is not, and it's based off of their actions, not off of the, you know, the clothes they wear or the group they're associated with. So that's a purposeful choice on my part, because in the modern day, in the world we live in right now, we are told through media and all number of things that XYZ is the bad guy. They're evil people. And it could be the Russians. It could be stochastic terrorists. You know, if you guys know what that phrase means. Conservative people in America, they could be the bad guy. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to I'm trying to encourage the audience to make their own decisions by viewing the actions that each character does and say, okay, well, this guy then is kind of an evil guy, or this guy's a nice guy. And that's kind of my goal here is not to make a political point about communism, but instead to get people to think critically about actions that people take and what's good and what's not. So that's kind of my I don't. This isn't an anti-commie book, and it's not a pro-commie book, I guess.
But like with communists, even though all of them are evil, some of them are more evil.
And I kind of see it like you were talking about earlier. It's kind of a Game of Thrones. You got factions, so I would imagine your
Yes.
story is going to go from one part of the world to another part, perhaps.
Yes, that's a little bit more in the future, I would say. Very, very far in the future. This story that occurs, Phenomenon, is it's selectively in Russia. So essentially, it just covers what's going on in Russia in 1999 in the year 1999 and 2000. It kind of stretches over the course of both of those years. But there are international interests, and they make themselves known. And so you guys will start to see there's a little bit of drip feed propaganda, as it were, from me to get, like, okay, so this is maybe someone that's going to show up later, that kind of thing. So I'm excited for people to see those things. But this Phenomenon and Phenomenal Tales will eventually branch out, I think, into and by eventually I mean like pretty soon, actually, into areas that are not Russia. But Phenomenon will selectively stay with Russia until that story is completed. And that story is going to be, if I'm being honest with people, we're on issue 1. We're going into issue 2. It's going to be at least probably 14, 15 issues in before the story switches over to a different country other than Russia. And that's all planned in my head. Like, it's all written out. It's already all done. So just so you guys know, this whole story it's all I'm waiting for now is just art from my artists. And then you'll get the story. The script's already written. The story's already written. It's there to go.
So do you have different artists for the different chapters working simultaneously? How are you producing this?
Yes. So the first one is the mainline comic series is currently being drawn by Tomas Kavash. He did the first one, and he's going to do the second one. Claudio is at the moment, after his performance on Phenomenal Tales #1, he's my Phenomenal Tales guy. Like, unless something changes, it was just such a pleasure working with him. That I'm really excited to get Phenomenal Tales #2 out. That'll happen after Phenomenon Comic Magazine #2, though. So it'll be this kind of staggered. You receive a mainline comic, and then there's the offshoot where you get to learn about one of the characters, and then we go back to the mainline, and so on and so forth.
Nice. And in this case of this one, is the artist like a one-man team doing the pencils, inks, and colors, or is it split over different artists?
Great question. So he does the pencils and the inks, and the colors are done by the amazing Peter Gilmore, the CG King of Horror. And he was just such a, like, he had done pieces for me for the first Phenomenon Comic Magazine. And his colors to me were so, like, because I have a very specific idea in mind of what this all looks like. And it's somewhere between retrofuturism and like cyberpunk.
Nice.
And so Peter came in and just nailed the colors that I'm looking for. And it's also, you can see it's a little more of an old fashioned kind of mostly flats style coloring. I like that old 80s 90s style, you know what I mean? There's some highlights you can see, but it's mostly flats. Marilyn Cookie says, love Claudio's art. Yes, me too. It's so good.
You're gonna keep coming back. That's good.
Yeah, he's got this very, see, when you're looking close at it, it looks, I guess you could say, sloppy. But when you pull out, you're like, oh, no, wait, I can see it's a lot of energy. It's so much energy to his art.
Yeah, I like sloppy inking as well. Like one of my favorite artists of all time is like Mark Silvestri, and I followed him like growing up on Wolverine, and I loved his stuff. His stuff was inked by Dan Green at the time. And when he moved over to Image, I followed him with the Cyberforce, and something was off with his art. Like I didn't I was like, oh, this is too clean. This is Jim Lee almost, you know. It's like it doesn't feel like the Silvestri I knew with Dan Green, who has much more loose inking over Silvestri's art. So inking does a lot for the art on the top. And there's definitely a case to be made for loose inking or sloppy inking, quote unquote.
Yeah. Sleeping Psychopathy says requires critical thinking. Hot. Yes, it does. And in fact, Sleeping Psychopathy, not to toot my own horn here, but there is nothing that I release in my comic books that isn't like laden with symbols and references and foreshadowing for things. So if you're looking at a page that I've laid out that my artist has made for me, and you're like, I wonder why it has that number of panels, or I wonder why, for instance, that monster on the page right in front of me has 6 horns. There's a reason for it. There's reasons for everything. Like I don't leave anything out like that.
6. Are like 2 of them on fire? Is that what's going on with the ones on the front?
No, those are
Those are his eyes.
His eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, flaming eyes.
Nice.
So yeah,
little kind of furry collar thing he's got there.
That's his mane. I think they call that, right?
Mange. Mange lives again.
Yes, this is Mange's final form.
It's not good.
And this down here is PTP after he dealt with Mange's final form.
Oh, it looks like Anakin at this point.
Yes, I hate you.
What's on the back of the guy? It's the jacket there.
Oh, that's just his Smirsh. They all have. See, this is another thing. All the details, all the character designs are designed by me. Minotaur here is wearing a Gorka suit, which is the Russian Spetsnaz suits they wear in kind of northern areas where it's kind of colder. And he's also wearing a Smirsh, I don't know what you call that, chest rig, essentially. So it allows for the carrying of multiple magazines of AK ammunition. It's kind of like that. We were talking earlier on Katie did stream about the military tactical, like the realism aspect of that, and that's something that I really like to bring into my comics. Honestly, my designs, I would say, are mostly influenced by Yoji Shinkawa from the Metal Gear Solid series. His designs for characters to me are like just the absolute chef's kiss perfection between military tactical / realism versus sci-fi chic. And I can't get enough of it. And so I've pretty much just based all of my designs off of Yoji Shinkawa's designs, even for the characters who have, what you would call super suits later. It's all kind of based on that as well.
You must like Ghost in the Shell then.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
great anime. The mangas of the Ghost in the Shell mangas.
I've only seen the anime. I should check out.
Definitely get the mangas, right? Because like he is like just a master. You know what I mean? Like for like cartooning, like the way he like illustrate. Well, like, or if you've seen like the Akira manga, how like it's just such a, every panel is like you're looking in on like that scene. You know what I mean? It's like every panel is like just like right from the movie or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's what the movie was made from. You know what I'm saying? So it's like every panel is just like so detailed. You're just like, oh, shit, okay.
And Akira is kind of unique because they started the manga before the manga is the book, right? So they started the manga before the anime. And then the anime was done like 7 studios simultaneously. It was like a rare golden age where everything crashed after they did Akira, but they had a short window of time where everything was working their way. 7 studios working at the same time. And they finished the anime, and the manga wasn't finished yet. The manga continued to be produced and was delivered way after the movie was done. And they're actually complementary. Like, you don't have the same scenes in both, and you focus on certain characters more in the manga than you do in the anime, and vice versa. It's very interesting.
But they don't conflict with one another?
No, not at all. They were done at
Fascinating.
the same time, and it's very complex. Like, you have high level strategic military intervention in Japan as, this super powered kid that has the impact of an atom bomb, right? Because basically the movie opens up with an atom bomb sized explosion, but it's from this paranormal activity of this child. It's quite fascinating and well done.
So is the manga's more about the military intervention? Because if I recall, the anime wasn't. But I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things you see more in the manga that you don't in the anime is the whole religion side. So there's this whole sect working in the background as well. So you hardly see them in the anime. You see the leader kind of like die off in one scene and yelling in another scene, and that's it. But in the book, you'll have like way more in depth conversations and scenes that take place in the temple that you just don't see in the anime.
Huh. Yeah, I got to check both of them. I mean, I've seen the anime, but I'm probably going to watch it again tonight now that you guys have reminded me about it. That animation was just spectacular.
Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, they did it like 24 frame a second, just like a movie, which it's why it has such a fluid motion.
Yeah, amazing. Well, that's actually a great segue because I wanted to ask you guys. So let's do this. I would like to ask you what your favorite Western American comic book. Well, it doesn't have to be American. It could be French as well. But Western comic book, and if you do have one, your favorite manga. So we'll start with Frederick.
Well, I'd have to go almost in the humor side because I grew up reading Lucky Luke, which is probably the most Western things that French produce. Because there's also, of course, you have the well-known Jean Giraud who did Blueberry. So that's well-known, but I didn't really dive into those. So I'm going to stick with Lucky Luke on this one.
Nice. I gotta check that out. And then your favorite manga.
Favorite manga? Oh, it's got
or anime if you've not read the manga. That's fine.
Yeah, definitely Akira still stands on top of my list.
Nice.
Although I did discover Berserk this year or last year and dove into that, and that was a lot of fun as well. But Akira's got a special place in my heart for sure.
So are you all caught up with Berserk, or are you still?
No, I stopped at Tome 10. So Tome 10 is sort of drifted aside. It's like all his allies are kind of kids, and it's all like him babysitting kids, and I sort of veered off at that point. And I might come back in at some point, like when the story's complete or something like that. But for the moment, I don't get to read a lot of stuff at the moment. I'm kind of focused on my own production. So I've kind of been neglecting my stack of reading.
Well, obviously focusing on your own production has led to stupendous results. Look at that shit. Here, I'm going to blow it up real quick. Hold on. This is amazing.
Yeah, tell us what you're working on there.
Look at that.
Yeah, I was telling Patrick a little bit earlier, but this is Rattel. So Rattel is basically a superhero, kind of like in the Batman style. He has access to a lot of wealth to have gadgets. And but his wealth doesn't come from a corporation. He's someone who started very early into Bitcoin. So he's like kind of a software developer geek who does a lot of snowboarding. And he kind of got a little bit too involved in hacking a bank or something, and he got caught, got sent to jail. But he was able to bring his Bitcoin wallet in the form of a memory in his head, because you can memorize your seed in the form of 12 words, right? So he brings that into jail. He goes to jail for 10 years, and then he comes out. And of course, in jail, there's something important that happens as well, because he goes in like a terrified kid, and he prays to God for his fear to go away. So an angel comes down and takes his fear from him. He no longer has any fear. Of course, that doesn't mean he has any superpowers, like he doesn't have any super healing or anything, but he just doesn't fear. So he's kind of really bold, which, is a sort of trade-off in a way.
Yeah.
and comes out of jail. He's stacked full of money, and this is his first flight here that you see over the city of Montreal. And he's just got this quad board that he's built up to surf kind of like a snowboard in the sky, and he's going to surveil the city on this. He's just kind of yearning for freedom, after being locked up for so long.
It reminds me of a Goblin Glider. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, when I decided I wanted to do a comic book, like I wanted something that, like Spider-Man, that you could have fights with villains amongst the skyscrapers, right? That was kind of my initial. I was like, okay, so if I'm going to be doing a comic, I'm going to be spending a lot of time drawing it. I want to have cool backgrounds, cool scenes to be able to draw with the characters. That was kind of the initial idea.
That's amazing. That's a great thing too. A lot of people don't think about that the environment that your comic book exists in. There's some people who think a lot about it and other people who don't think at all about it. So like you obviously think a lot about it. B.A. Turner, his comic book is based in Detroit. He talks, well, it's not a comic book, excuse me. His book is based in Detroit. And as you're reading the book, you start to see he'll define specific aspects of Detroit. And I can look him up on the internet and go, oh, look, there's the real thing.
And we interviewed BA on our stream, and he's actually adapting it into a comic as we speak, like working on a script form. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
That's pretty cool. And Detroit is just on the other side of the Great Lakes from Montreal. Like it's not far geographically.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you guys have to wash the lake from touching Detroit, from it touching Detroit?
Actually, the water comes in from the ocean. In through Quebec, where I am, all down to Montreal with the ports, and then it goes into the Great Lakes. So,
thank God.
Yes.
Yeah. You ever been to Detroit, Frederick?
I have not. No, I've been to a few places in the States, but Detroit is not one of them.
Dude, I went there one time for a show I was playing, and it was let me put it like this. Everybody's opinions about drivers in Detroit, they're right. Those people are maniacs. They're madmen. And I live in St. Louis. So you would, blinkers aren't really a thing in St. Louis. Detroit is even worse. It is a nightmare.
They used to make a lot of cars down there.
Yeah, they did. It's actually, that reminds me, one of my favorite jokes from Deadpool 1 was TJ Miller's talking to him and he's like, if you could die, for everybody else's sake. And Deadpool's like, joke's on you. I'm going to live to 109 and then die, like the city of Detroit. Oh. It's just fucking savage. But Dr. Ben, what is your favorite? I think I already know the answer to this, but what is your favorite Western comic book? And then manga or anime, if you have one.
Yasha. I would go.
I'm not gonna
be able to show it. Yeah, one second. I'll turn this off for a second so you can see the. Oh, they just got to wherever. Yeah, you can see that's the couch. Inuyasha. This is
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha, yeah.
Yeah.
Mariko, or not Mariko, yeah. Rumiko Takahashi. Rumiko Takahashi. I like Inuyasha. I like all her stuff. This and Ranma Half or whatever. Current favorite comic. Footnotes and
comic. This is real? Open that up. Let's see what it says. Oh, wow. Is it all about Zionist propaganda? Fascinating.
It's all him over in Gaza, interviewing people, telling their stories about being raped by dogs and all that stuff,
Oh, my God. That's probably why they don't like dogs so much.
Yeah.
Getting raped by them. I would not like dogs very much too if I was being raped by them.
I like the dogs except for just all the raping. They come and I can't stop them, and yeah, that would.
You kind of sounded like Trump there for a second. We've got great dogs, absolutely fantastic dogs, but they're raping
Our dogs are the
people. What am I
best.
supposed to do? I'm supposed to stop them from raping people.
They tell us the dogs are raping people. What is going on?
Cats will never rape you.
Cats could though, or they would if they could. That's come on, or they'd eat you at least.
Fair.
Cats they're beautiful, but they're at the same time, you know that they're only chill with you because they can't kill you and eat you. You know what I mean?
But yeah, like whatever. I read like so many comics. Like I don't even know what I would say is like my favorite. Like just whatever I'm reading is just like
Swamp Thing. You were gonna say Swamp Thing.
no.
I know you were gonna say Swamp Thing, Dr. Ben. Come on. That's like asking me what my favorite comic is, and I'm like, oh, it's not Fantastic Four. You're like, come on, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, with you, it'd definitely be like fantastic. Like you're definitely like you're younger. You're not as seen all the horrors I've seen.
What are you talking? My favorite comic book is the '60s, the Lee Kirby Fantastic Four. Like how you can call me young for saying that that's my favorite comic.
It's like you're more innocent of the
Yes.
horrors of the
That's
world.
true.
You're like, oh, look at this! It's so nice. The guy's on fire. The guy's made of rocks and a rubber band. Just fighting it. You know, like no, like in reality, they're all just.
Yeah, but Jack Kirby did see a lot of shit, though. Like the artist, the creator, went through a lot of shit, and he was writing those stories to bring hope to people and to touch them and give them a sense of adventure and heroism.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what he's talking about.
Yeah. They're hopeful. They're hopeful comics. Like
Which is interesting that it's like my favorite comic book of all time, and none of my comic books are anything like that. Hopeful. But what's funny? What's funny? It's interesting for me to think about if you guys know about Mr. Fantastic and you view him as the kind of the goody two shoes, straight and narrow kind of character. To think about the fact that he was in, technically speaking, when it was being written in the '60s, he was in World War II, and had just capped God knows how many men. Like he had killed lots of people. And then he comes and he's the leader of the Fantastic Four. It's like, okay. It's just an interesting thing to think about, that that's probably why he's so serious about the things that he does. And that's interesting too to note that like they don't have the Fantastic Four never established their no kill rule. Reed never killed somebody in the Fantastic Four, and he always had ways around killing people. But it's just weird. It's just interesting to think about that he did kill many Germans, and here he is trying to save people.
That'd be dark, though, having a Mr. Fantastic go around trying to kill people, like suffocating them.
Yes.
Like a bag over their heads.
Yes.
If he turned evil, man, he'd be really bad.
Well, have you ever heard of The Maker? You ever heard of that?
No, I don't think I have.
That's okay. It's not that cool because it was kind of poorly done. But so there was the Ultimate, the Ultimate Universe for Marvel.
I heard of it, but I had never followed the series. Yeah.
So it was it was actually kind of perfectly placed for somebody my age. I was like 12 or 13 in the year. I don't know what year it was, 2003 or something like that. And Marvel came out with a modernized version of their characters called the Ultimate Universe.
Right.
So it was a reboot of Spider-Man. The Avengers were called the Ultimates. There was the Ultimate X-Men, which, by the way, those 3 series, I would encourage everybody to go find and read at least the first 24 issues of all of those series. The Mark Bagley, Brian Michael Bendis. I know people don't like Brian Michael Bendis that much, but he's a brilliant writer. Okay, he's a really, really good writer, and his the way that he writes dialogue is just superb. It is superb. At least it was in the early 2000s. Maybe he might have aged out of understanding how modern people talk, so maybe he's a little cringe these days for some of the stuff that he does. But for a while there, Brian Michael Bendis' dialogue was top of the line. It was better than everybody else's. And he made books seem real. And so he and Mark Bagley did the Ultimate Spider-Man, which was, I don't know about other people, other bigger Spider-Man fans are out there than I am, but I love that series so much. It is so good. And then you have Ultimate X-Men, which was being drawn, if I'm not mistaken, by what's his name, Kubert. And
Andy Kubert, right?
yeah, and you had him and Mark Miller. Mark Miller was the writer for Ultimate X-Men for the first 6 to 8 issues, I want to say. Splendid. And then you have Mark Miller working with this is I always forget who drew the Ultimates, but the Ultimates, the Ultimate Avengers, essentially. You had Mark Miller doing that series, and then he did Ultimates 2 and Ultimates 3, all of which are some of the best stories that ever came out of the Ultimate Universe ever. And they're absolutely splendid. They put a more modern, more realistic spin on the Marvel characters from essentially at that point it was the 90s. And just those are the things that like inspired me as a kid. Like I read those and I was like, oh shit, like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So Mark Miller he'll always be probably. Mark Miller is my favorite selectively comic book writer. If you were to ask me my favorite comic book writer or illustrator, it would be John Byrne. But Mark Miller is the best comic book writer in my opinion.
Did you see John Byrne's like pirate copy of the Phoenix ending that he had like put on his blog?
I've never actually viewed it myself. Every time that I think about it, I go, I need to go read that, and then I just haven't.
Yeah.
But that seems to me like one of the greatest things of all time. Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read it yet, but I've downloaded all the files, and I'm thinking of inking it just for fun, because you learn. While I'm on the topic, let me show you something. This is
That would be amazing. Oh,
this is an ink job I did. So this is a Ed Bennis pencil sketch that a client of mine purchased, and he commissioned me to do just the ink job on it. So my take on this is just the inking there.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, no, inking, you learn a lot. Like it helps you learn how to draw by inking other people's work as well. You are actually going through the motion of like the way they do their shapes, their lines, and everything, and a lot of techniques like hashing techniques or the way they darken do their black areas and things like that. You learn, you pick up a thing or two. And I wanted to try John Byrne's as well because I like the concept so much. I mean, just the idea of an artist who gets like pissed off with the way they took to the direction of the characters and doing his own thing on his own time, and just not making any money, just going, oh, it's on my blog. Here's the correct ending. I think that's such a swell idea.
Isn't it such a flex too? Like
for sure.
You know, he used his art to make money. But he releases that and it's just like, I'm not making any money off this and I know I won't, but I'm still going to do it. It's like, oh, John Byrne, he's a legend amongst legends. I love John Byrne so much. Sleeping Psychopathy says, isn't that the one that Katie commented on in Yellow Flash Totally Spurred, talking about Inuyasha? Yes, that is in fact the one. So it's crazy. Like, think about this, guys. There's people out there who will spurg on her for that fictional scenario, while at the same time, people like Dr. Ben and myself, I can't speak for Frederick, but I hopefully so as well, we are absolutely obsessed with Punisher. We love Punisher. This guy.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Like
okay, good.
When I was I grew up reading G.I. Joe and stuff. So when I was moved to Quebec and found the local comic book store here, one of the first stories I got into was Punisher, as well as Spider-Man, and which was Mark Bagley was taking over when I was starting to read Spider-Man then.
Yeah. And
I love the Punisher series, and I was looking through my stuff, and I have a couple of Mike Baron scripts in there as well, and I didn't even know it at the time because, you know, I'm just like, I was so focused on the artist that I wasn't even paying attention to the writers at that point. Mm-hmm. What is a writer anyway, right?
Right. A useless waste of space, if you ask some people. Go ahead, Doctor.
I do have actually a question. I don't know if you'd heard that with this Alan Moore stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I had heard is that actually Alan isn't his real first name.
Yeah, it's like Robert or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what, and that's I have. This is or Rob, kind of like with like Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have been Rob Moore instead. So this is I have. Hold on, let me.
They might have perceived it as a call to action, so they probably wouldn't have done that.
Let me share. There we go.
Thanks for the laugh, Frederick. I appreciate that.
It's like subliminal programming. Swamp Thing by Rob Moore.
Right.
Okay.
Art by Rapeless. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to take down your stream.
That broke up with a man and they looking for somebody else right now.
What the is this AI? Dr. Ben, you know my feelings about AI.
You gotta be
Real song.
You gotta be single. Single ladies, put your hands in the air right now so I can see you.
What the fuck is this?
So many. I'm confused.
God damn it, Doctor. I thought you were going to show us a video about
This is Alan Moore. That's him.
Rob Moore, and now you're showing us this
Now, I would like to get
Frank
to know
Ocean
you,
or something.
talk to you, have a drink or something, and we can just have something to eat.
It's got to be like one of the opening songs for.
But at the end of the conversation, I'm going to want you to come back to America with me.
Back to America. Comics get
I know I am.
America. You know, we're
You gotta be willing.
We've met the,
Split the difference. Come to
Australian.
America and see me. I come out here to see you in Ethiopia.
Doctor, I feel like there was a point you were trying to make,
But
but
it's so hard to get. Let me think.
it's been lost
Let me
in the
think.
video.
You need to figure out
How am I gonna get you
they get,
from Ethiopia
they're gonna go there.
to America?
I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. That's how I feel right now. That little guy right
Do
there
you
with
have
the
your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America.
you and me
Do
both,
you
brother.
have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
This is like the kind of nightmares you get when you eat pizza before going to sleep.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots?
And you're just wishing that that it would focus on one idea, so you just focus on that and go to sleep. What the fuck?
Oh, I saw that one. That one's good.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So I saw on Twitter.
service issue and to reach out to
Okay.
There we go.
Dr. Ben's learning video editing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's exactly. I just put it as like I put up that and the whatever I did one with that Katie did video.
But Dr. Ben, this is what I want to ask you. What were you trying to express with that video? That's what I want to know.
That is a fucking jam. Is what I'm trying to express.
Oh, the song you're talking about?
Do you have your shots? You want to come back? Back to America. You have your
But-
shots? What?
But why associate it with Alan Moore? Like, what's the connection there? You know, the chat, they're dying to know right now. Sleeping Psychopathy just commented, but then he deleted it. He's dying to know what the connection.
Well, because I mean, like it's like he's joining Comicsgate. Like he's he's doing like basically outreach for us. Trump, Comicsgate. They're a bunch of misogynists. That's what it is. That's why we're trying to stop them, is because they're mean to women. And like they're saying that we have. Well, I think actually right now the Kings is on right now too, and I think of all the people on the streams, none of us are identify as women, at least that I know of. But
well, Mandy does. Mandy's a king,
but she's not. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she's streaming right now. It's like all the rest of the other guys are over there on Ethan's. Let me see what they're saying on that.
That is true.
So maybe it's the case. Maybe we are a bunch of but also we know that you can just identify as a woman, and that would
Doctor, I'm still confused. We might have to move on, but I'm still confused as to how Alan Moore.
Because his first name is Robert, so that's what I'm saying. It's like him singing. He would be singing that. Do you want to come back with Robert?
But who was singing that?
The line in the song.
I may just be ignorant about that. Who was the artist behind that? Who was singing that?
R. Kelly.
And his name is Robert. That's what R stands for?
As well as Alan Moore, yes.
Okay, all right. That was the disconnect there. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure that shit out.
I should have explained it was R. Kelly. Maybe that's what I should have started with. It's been like
maybe.
Also, I like presenting it as if it was like Alan Moore singing that. So you could just be like, "What is Alan Moore really like a soulful R&B singer on the side? What is?" Because I've seen Alan Moore in like a one of those dubstep. You heard of the dubstep music?
Dubstep's for pussies. Anybody?
Dubstep never dies.
There you go. Thank you.
He's in a video. Maybe it's not dubstep, but it's like some English rapper or something. One of those street rappers from over in Britain, England, or whatever. Like there was him in a video where he comes up and he says a couple words. Alan Moore, he's just I don't think any different of him. I still love From Hell, and like I do like Swamp Thing. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like maybe if you want to talk about maybe like the most influential book for me, it would be From Hell. Because as a child, and we're trying to order From Hell. I found like the Wizard magazine that first talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Back from like '93 or whatever, and like I've got the issue. I think it's
well. What a great segue that is. You're saying that what From Hell is one of your favorite. Look at that, amazing. Speaking of things that are from hell. Got him. Nailed him. We got Carvin Hart. What's up, Carvin?
What's up, Carvin?
That's exactly right.
Sorry, I had to,
Hey, I say it all the time.
How you doing, Carvin? What's new,
I'm
brother?
good. I'm good. How's everybody?
Hey, how's it going?
Mr. Frederick Goumond.
Yeah.
That's
nice to meet you.
Pleasure's mine. Nice to see you.
I broke out of the chat room. Now I'm in the main window.
That's right.
Welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
So are you actually in France?
No, I'm in Quebec.
So yes.
You guys call that French Canadian. We call ourselves Québécois. But
almost as good as France.
Québécois, which stands
that's
for
better in some
French
ways,
Canadian.
There's less French people here.
The main draw for anywhere.
Frederick, I feel like I had it made with two just splendidly beautiful French girls. I had it made, I tell you. And I was so young and stupid and ignorant that I just blew the whole thing apart. One of them was a redhead with freckles. Can you literally heap shame upon me, chat? I was such a fool.
God damn. So were they actually from France or what?
Oh, yeah. And in fact, the redhead, she spoke Russian as well. So that would have ticked off all my boxes.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Were they actually women as well?
Yes, they were. They were women. This is before all that stuff started. This is when I was in college. So
they was around back then,
2012. It was 2012, 2013. And I just totally blew it with both of them. And I just feel bad about that to this day. So.
Well, if it's only any solace, as hot as red-headed women are, they are trouble and they're insane. So it's that double-edged sword.
Yes, you're right. You're not wrong. Billy Bobsack says, "You blew them?" No, I blew it. I blew it, not them. It's different, okay? Nowadays, I know you got to ask that question, but no, it's not that.
Well, I mean, the first question you want to ask on a date is, so how long have you been a woman?
Right, right. Oh my God.
I haven't shared this on my social media. I don't think so. I guess it wouldn't matter.
Is it another video of Rob Warren?
Did you?
Nope. It's
Those French girls. Did you sing to them? Did you go? Do you have your passports? Have you got your shots? Do you want to come back?
when I call myself the doc. You want to come back with the doc? Come back with the doc.
No, I did sing to them, and that's kind of partially the reason that they were interested in me. But I didn't sing that to them. No, no. You know what it was, Carbon? It was some stupid shit. It was the stupidest shit in the world. Because they were like, I like Barack Obama. And I was like, Barack Obama's a Marxist sack of shit. And I just like went on and on for like 2 hours about how shitty Barack Obama was. Totally missing the point that like she had moved on from the subject and was just not interested anymore. And it just kept going. And you guys think I talk a lot now and keep talking and don't stop talking? Yeah, fucking 10 years ago, I was a million times worse.
Well, I was gonna say or ask. Chances are they were liberal, right?
Yeah.
The two French chicks, and they were probably also like aggressive, right? Because I hear that French women are like very assertive.
Well,
they think they're dominant over men.
I felt like I could have asserted my dominance and domineered their dominance. If that makes any sense.
But were they actually like dominant?
Not really.
No, but they weren't submissive. I doubt it.
No. They certainly weren't submissive. I don't find submissive women all that attractive, if I'm being brutally honest.
No. You need to learn.
I need to have a bit of fight back. You know what I mean? So I can beat you down.
You will soon see that submissive women. That's the way to go.
No. Like I will say submissive within the context of my faith and morals. Like, but then you're not really being submissive to me if you're submissive to God. You know what I mean? Like that's fine. That's cool. But I like a woman who challenges me to be better, I guess is the way I would put it. Is that submissive?
How so though? Because that's kind of like a bullshit saying. She challenges me to be better.
Say I smoke a bunch of cigarettes and she goes, I'm not gonna do XYZ with you until you stop smoking cigarettes. I need a woman like that.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
That's no good.
Cigarettes are bad. Cigarettes are bad for me, brother.
No, I mean cigarettes are good. It's gonna put chest hair on you, man.
It does.
It increases testosterone. It's good.
No, I'm not talking about the cigarette factor. I mean the factor of a woman making a demand like that on you. That is a no-no.
But I would make the same demand of her. I would say, look, you can't you can't smoke cigarettes if you're gonna XYZ me when I'm with my pants off. And
yeah, you don't want your girl to smoke, man. Put chest hair on her.
No, exactly. Thank you, Frederick.
Don't you remember my checklist of the red flags?
Dude, we need to do another one. I know that some people got mad, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Billy Bobsack says, Frederick, show them your pen 15. Wow.
Yeah,
just flop it on the table there.
On our stream, I have a segment where I show my latest pen.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
Yes.
What a sick pen! Wait, no, hold on. I'm gonna blow this pen up. Look at that pen! Wow, it's straight
Mitsubishi.
White.
It's like it's a ballpoint pen, but it's very fine. I think it's 0.2 millimeters.
It's a Mitsubishi pen.
Yes.
So like the car company.
Yes, but it's the pen division.
You're not joking? That's
I'm not
actually a real
joking.
thing?
No.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah. No, the
fascinating.
Japanese, man, they make the best pens. Like, we have to keep on good terms with Japan if we want comics to thrive here in America.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There are some amazing pens. Although I've got microns. How do you feel about those?
Yeah, you have to have microns.
Microns are pretty good.
Yeah, I like the Tombow for the. It kind of replaces the quill,
Mhm.
so it's like what do you call it? Like it's kind of a felt tip.
Yeah.
So it really replaces the quill, and the quill was like my least favorite part of inking back in the day. So this is my favorite of all. There's even like Pentel brushes as well, you know, like always reliable.
Hey, Billy Bobsack, you should go. My comic book is now funding, and if you want to support it, you should go. It's on penisland.com. If you type that in, you go there, you'll find it. I need to real quick. I need to go. I need to take a piss. Look, I'll be real with you people. So I'm going to put a video on that Carbon and Dr. Ben might have seen. Frederick, you might not have seen it. For those in the chat here, this is if you guys have ever seen the old 60s cartoons and you were wondering, like, where did those go? Why aren't there more of those? Well, when in my free time, when I have free time and I'm not making comic books, I do voiceover work. And so this is essentially my love letter to the 60s superhero cartoons from Marvel. This is the Fantastic Four World's Greatest Magazine #1. I'll be right back, folks, probably in about, I would wager, 6 minutes. About 6 minutes, and I'll be right back. But this here is...
The fabulous FF face their greatest challenge ever in the Baxter Building Besieged. After facing a host of carbon copies of their deadliest foes, the Fantastic Four return home to a riotous reception that would make a rollicking rock star green with envy.
Reeve, someone must have alerted the press to our arrival.
You can say that again. It's a whole swinging soiree. Out of the way, crumbums, before I bounce you clean back to Yancey Street.
Smile for the cameras, Crystal. I want everyone to get a good look at the Human Torch's best girl.
Go on, back off, Charlie, before I clobber the lot of you.
What's the matter, Benji? Pressures of fame too much for our ever-loving blue-eyed idol of millions? A shot! Someone's firing at us. Flame on!
All right, who's the wise guy?
Spread out. The shooter must have blended in with the crowd.
Yeah? Well, he'll blend in with the people once I get my mitts on him.
I'll create an invisible force field.
It's no use, Reed. I can't make out anything in all the commotion. But even as they continue their search, a hidden device observes our heroes' every action. For, according to plan, another miniature mechanical menace buzzes through the darkening sky for the FF's home in the Baxter Building. Within instants, it darts through an air vent and into the headquarters of the world's greatest super team. Tiny circuits whir and click as every inch of the Fantastic Four's home is researched and recorded by this strange device, and then automatically transmitted to its secret point of origin. But suddenly, computerized anti-espionage mechanisms built into the Baxter Building isolate this small-scale spy and eliminate it. Only time will tell, however, if they have acted in time. A short time later, Reed Richards turns his attention to weeks of neglected research and analysis. I dare not upset the others, but I fear all the time we've spent away from the Baxter Building recently may have made us more vulnerable to attack. These next few tests will either confirm my suspicions or...
Reed, you've been working non-stop. Take a break and eat something, darling.
Oh, I'm sorry, Susan, but I can't slow down now. This shouldn't take long, but I have to finish my work here before I even consider anything else. It's gone, but that's impossible.
Is it really, Reed, darling? Or are you simply too involved with your gadgets to remember your loving wife is the invisible girl?
Of course not, dear. I always do routine checks on our instruments and weapons. I guess I got carried away. Watch it, sis. One irascible orange-skinned orangutan coming through.
Johnny, what on earth?
Come here, you loudmouth little creep. You want to act like an overgrown, spoiled brat? Then I'll put you over my knee and... Hey!
Johnny Storm, Benjamin J. Grimm. I thought the two of you had grown out of this kind of behavior. Can't you see Reed's in the middle of something important?
Aw, geez, Susie. It's not like he didn't ask for it. That flame-brained brother of yours was blaming me for letting that sniper get away at the airport.
Calm down, Ben. I understand the two of you need to blow off steam once in a while, but Susan's right. I can't work with these continued distractions.
Why? You afraid we'll foul up the new baby-changing contraption you're cooking up for little Franklin?
Okay, that's enough. Both of you, get out.
Thank you, dear. Now I can get back to wondering, who sent this? Even as the man known as Mr. Fantastic ponders this latest perilous puzzle, we turn our attention to a secluded location in upstate New York, where a team of technicians work feverishly to prepare for a fearful new mission.
Hurry, hurry! All must be as the master instructed. There is not a moment to spare.
Now take your places on board. The time has come to report to the master.
All is in readiness, Excellency.
Of course it is. For such is the will of your mighty sovereign. Such is the will of Dr. Doom. Now, after months of careful preparation, it is time to claim the victory denied me so often in the past. The triumph I should have tasted when last I held the Fantastic Four within my grasp. And, lesser powers though they may be, only a fool would fail to heed the lessons wrought from even the narrowest of defeats. Only the most misguided of miscreants would deny the potential for shaping future glories from past mistakes. You have your orders. See to it they are met. Leave me to further ponder what lies ahead. It has been a long time since I have made my home on foreign soil, but this base has served me well in past endeavors. And after that last unholy conflagration, I refuse to see my beloved Latveria scarred anew by those I hate most. Only out of my regard for the welfare of my loyal subjects did I spare the Fantastic Four when last we met. This time, I shall harbor no such concerns. For plundering a plenitude of my incomparable scientific creations. The time has come for the Fantastic Four to pay.
Meanwhile,
shake a leg, Stretcho. Sheesh. What kind of guy tells his partners to hustle down to the garage and then waltzes in late himself?
Sorry for the delay, old friend. I had something to attend to. But now we're going upstate to visit Franklin.
Reed, that's wonderful. But why didn't you say anything? I could have called ahead to let Agatha Harkness know we're coming.
I thought it would be more of a surprise this way, dear. Buckle up, everybody. Next up, Whisper Hill. But once the Fantastic Car is safely in the air, it immediately attracts attention of a most unwanted kind.
Even after having traveling in inhuman-made crafts, I can't get over how amazing your Fantastic Car is. It only took a few seconds to put the city behind us.
Oh, come on, Chris. As our 5th team member, you should know that everything from amazing to unusual is our specialty. Speaking of which, wait till you get a load of Whisper Hill. I think Bashful Benji, to name just one, would attest unusual doesn't even begin to describe the place. Look out! The Fantastic Car is being ripped apart by some type of energy blast.
Sheesh. Did you think we'd miss that if you didn't broadcast it for us?
But even as our confounded heroes plummet toward the ground below, another fateful incident is transpiring. A strangely shaped ship descends upon the Baxter building. And then, from within the mysterious craft, legions of savage servo guards emerge. In a matter of moments, the home of the Fantastic Four is thrown into chaos. As though possessed by a single mind, the unfeeling servo guards lunge forth into the FF's home, leaving brutal destruction in their wake. At that moment, a second ship descends upon the celebrated skyscraper, carrying with it a quartet of Doom's most loyal emissaries.
You have your orders. Carry them out. All of Richardson's hardware must be accounted for.
Meanwhile, in the air above a wooded glen several miles outside the city, Susan, I can guide us safely to the ground, but Ben is plummeting like a rock.
Don't worry, Reed. I can do something about that.
Hang on, Chris. I've got you.
What a revolting development this is. Another couple of seconds, and my whole blamed hide is going to be covering the countryside. What? Some kind of invisible cushion is keeping me from becoming an orange omelet.
You're right, Ben. Susan created a flexible blanket of force beneath you to break your fall. Johnny, scout ahead and see if you can find out what we're up against.
Hey, why come old Flamehead always gets to fly out of earshot while the rest of us get stuck listening to you?
How can you talk like that, Benjamin? There's something terrible behind this, and Reed's just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Big deal. So we're in danger again? Just point out the Joker trying to whoop us, and I'll blast them back where he came from.
It's not that easy, though, Ben. Whoever's behind this is actively toying with us from afar. What's more, we probably haven't heard the last of him. I have to confess, I'm not at all surprised by this. I was analyzing some debris caught in our security systems earlier, and noted that a highly advanced spy device was among the refuse.
What are you saying, Stretch? Someone's been watching us? What gives? You usually ain't the type to hold out on us when someone's looking to clobber us.
Once again, old friend, it's not quite that simple. I wasn't certain we were under the threat of attack until now.
Oh yeah? And what gave that away?
This is serious, Ben. If I'm correct in assuming who's behind this, we need to return to the Baxter building immediately. And, speaking of the Fantastic Four's HQ,
The Master should be pleased. We've retrieved all of his stolen inventions, even his time machine. If the Fantastic Four survived our earlier attack, they'll return to their fabled headquarters to find instead a smoldering
disaster
We must leave at once. But first,
Yeah.
have you carried out the last of the Master's instructions?
Oh.
And he kicked himself.
All right. So what have you guys been up to?
Well, life in general.
Sorry about that. Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. What's up, guys? I'm back.
Dr. Ben, what's that you got there?
Start explaining.
So that's your rendition of that scene.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good. I must say, I've been seeing improvements in your artwork.
One is more rendering onto the other one, but it is a shoeshine boy. Shoeshine boy going to shoeshine man with a hat. Maybe Jack the Ripper. That could be him. We don't know.
They're all in the same dimension.
Exactly.
They're all in the third dimension as opposed to the seventh.
Oh, see, that's what I'm doing as we is I'm reposting my old From Hell is Fake News zine, right? Where I talk about I talk about Alan Moore's From Hell comics. See, that's a picture of it. From Hell comic, talking about it. Well, Alan Moore, blah, blah, blah.
That's a great picture of Alan Moore.
Oh yeah, you guys, a bunch of the different suspects, and you guys know who that is.
Yeah, very nice.
You know who that is.
My friend Pumpkin Man almost blew it last night talking about this comic.
But yeah, I
barely avoided it.
I referenced Mandy Summers in my my weird academic Jack the Ripper thing, and I also had a weird dream about Jack the Ripper as well.
Oh, thank God! I thought you were going to say you had a weird dream about Mandy Summers. That was a close one.
It would have taken an entire different turn.
Very nice.
Other cartoonists did show up in it, like Simon Hanselman and Nate Garcia. Like I don't know those guys. I mean, I've seen them like on like live shows and whatnot, and read their comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were both in there too. Like I was like driving around. I was like waiting for Jack the Ripper. Like, and it was like that big Dr. Gull from Hell. And then like they showed up like in a car, and then we went to a restaurant. I remember seeing Mr. Magoo playing in the restaurant, like a theater kind of restaurant place. So I'm saying I have weird dreams, man. I was telling somebody the other day about one I had where I went to open a door, and inside the room was like a shower room, and it was just seven or eight like severed heads, just all on the ground.
Oh my god!
Just like and there was people.
We can imagine what kind of dreams you have, Dr. Ben.
Yeah, right.
Say, like, there's people that are like, we are going to kill you. You know who you are.
We believe you. We believe you.
But it wasn't like a horror dream. Like, it was just kind of like a, like a normal dream. You see someone in your dream, and they're talking.
It wasn't like a horror dream. You just saw 6 severed heads. It's not
right.
a horror
Well, I
dream
mean,
at all.
That's normal for Dr. Ben.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. It's not.
I think you can refresh the page, Patrick.
Oh, you're right. Let me refresh the page. We were at 132, 3%. Let's see what we're at now. 178. Wow. Wow.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
What's I can get, like, I haven't signed up for it yet. I've got to, like, get.
It's only $10, Dr. Ben. It's only $10.
But I'm gonna get it. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like I haven't done it yet. I'm going to, and that's what I'm like. I need to get the one that's $10, and I need to get the first issue. I did not, as you know, I didn't have my riches when you had your first campaign.
His riches, he says.
How many pages is it, Patrick?
This is 24 pages.
Nice.
24 pages. So I kind of forced myself to write a book within 24 pages, and that was actually very interesting for me because Phenomenon, this whole series here, when I originally wrote it. Oh my god, people shouldn't buy my book just for me saying read it. I wrote it as a like I was telling you guys earlier. It's more like a Attack on Titan / Game of Thrones ensemble style book. So it's it's going to be a long time before everything resolves in that comic. So I purposely tested myself to see if I could write a 24-page complete story. And so here we are. You guys will get to decide. You guys will get to decide if I did it. If I did it or I didn't do it,
It looks very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's
I'm going to pick up the Jimmy Reyes cover.
That's the one I got. Yeah.
Yes.
The first appearance of Johnny Scab as a woman.
Yes, Jenny Scab right
Jenny
here.
Scab, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I like it.
People don't believe that I made Ember that character before I even met Johnny, but here it is. Legit, it's crazy. I didn't even think about it until somebody said it was Jenny Scab. How similar Ember looks to Johnny. It's actually quite fascinating. And then you got the Blue Rose on the front here. She's one of the Spetsnaz agents who's been given superpowers. So she now has superpowers. She creates Plasrad, as it's called. It's a combination between plasma and radiation. That's her ability. And then we have in the background here, we have Cruel Mantis. He's one of the Lantern terrorists. He's got these sick ballistic knives that are attached to his wristbands. So he kind of like can flip them up and use those to kill people. So yeah, really, what a beautiful cover. And he actually took my title and he made it look normally speaking, when artists take my title and they try to mess with it, I'm very not pleased with it. But Peter did a great job here. He actually made it look super, super cool. So great job for Peter there. Peter's just an amazing artist. But yeah, Phenomenal Tales #1, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an ongoing series alongside of Phenomenon. And you'll get to see all of the characters in Phenomenon. They all get to get their just desserts. They get their due, and they get their own comic book. So we'll get to see their origins for everybody here. And this is the first one is Minotaur. Obviously, he's people who read the first comic book there's a page there that I never showed anybody. So when you got to it, when you were reading it, hopefully it was like a oh wow, like oh shit, like this is that guy page. Carbon, do you know what I'm talking about?
A page in the first book where there's a reveal.
Yeah, there's a page in the first book that I never showed until I never showed it on stream or anything, and it's a very how would I put it, a very violent page that introduces you to the character of Minotaur. Do you remember
Yeah.
that? Yeah. So that's the page that like this whole comic is based off of. Essentially, it's like why did he do that? And this comic book explains that.
Cool. Yeah, this is developing pretty nicely. I tuned in earlier on this stream when you were talking about it, and the you're gonna have two ongoing series, which is a good idea. And I like this page a lot. That demon looks really cool.
Thank you very much. I want to be clear too with people watching. This is not a book for children. Don't show it to your children. There's not that much language in this comic. There's some language in the first one. He says fuck, and then shit, I think, happens some later. No sex. I don't have any sex in my comic books. It's just not what I do. Other people do that well enough, and they do it better than me, so I'm going to let them do that. My comic does not have any kind of sexual connotations to it, but there will always be a lot of language, and in this comic particularly, there's some pretty gruesome violence, is what I would say. And also, there's a character in this who, as you read it, you'll find out, is incredibly racist, and so he speaks like that. So, just so you guys know, this is not a book for kids. It's an adult book. Billy Bob says, "Where them titties, boy?"
I mean, that's all good stuff that you have in there, but soon you need to incorporate some titties.
Oh, there you
for
go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got them right there.
There's 2 pairs.
Yeah, two pairs.
Sex is a very important part of life.
It is.
And marketing.
Oh, for sure. Everybody, that's why I even released this. I was like, well, long story short, I gave this, this to Jimmy, and I said, "Hey, Jimmy, I've got 5 characters. This is my general idea for the cover. What do you think?" And he gave me back this cover where he's like, the girls are front and center. All the girls, you know what I'm saying? So it's good.
He knows how to sell a comic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say, write what you know. So we get it, Patrick. You've never seen a naked woman before. So that's
damn.
It's not really theoretical, really.
Yeah. Nobody is, who even really knows what it looks like? There's nobody out there who actually knows.
You know what? That's what I was trying to say earlier. Remember last stream that we were all together? I was discussing how there was a lady. The following day, I went and dined with her.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
And we've been texting. We're going to go out to dinner again this week.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
And if you can imagine, it was kind of awkward because I explained that the reason that I'm generally so awkward and weird is because of this weird Satan murder thing. So
you brought that up on the first date.
Yeah. Just get it out there. I was like, you know what? I've actually never first date. I've never actually just been like, hey, guess what? There's this whole weird thing, and she has agreed to have a follow-up date.
Well, did you also ask her how long she's been a woman?
She's definitely a woman.
Okay.
Did you show her the Alan Moore video yet?
I have not. What you see? This is what I'm saying. I try not to like. Once I'm sure of the woman thing, obviously, like she's definitely attractive. Has freckles.
There you go.
Men have freckles too, you know.
Not like these.
Not like these. He says.
But no,
did you check? Says Billy Bob Sack.
I worked with her before at a factory actually, and she's definitely a lady.
Oh,
men don't have curves like that. Not
she
even
in a factory though. You said that's generally speaking a man's job. So,
well, there's actually a lot of women that work at the factories around here. Like it's a
sewing factory.
A different
sewing factory.
Different demographic stratus than Patrick does. Obviously, you know, we have the metal foundry that's closing down because all the contracts have gone to Mako. And
that sucks.
No,
how sick would it be though if the metal foundry was actually just a name for like a venue where only metal bands played? That would be.
It's a good name.
That would be pretty good.
Very good name.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Ugh.
There was a lot of hot girls that worked at the factory though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's like physical work. You know what I'm saying? Like
so I'm guessing it's a sex toy factory.
Yeah. No, we made like the knuckles for like ball joints or something on cars and some sort of transmission housing. You would think that would be covered by like an automotive workers union because we're making fucking parts for the goddamn Ford F-150 in America. Literally fucking American people. So you would think there'd be something about a fucking automotive workers union doing something, but no.
Huh.
Well, I'm happy for you, Ben. That
not really. Sorry.
That you were able to lure this chick into your life.
God
ironically, the satanic murder story might actually work to your benefit. Maybe she got turned on, you know.
Yeah, that's about to say. It was a turn on for her. She's like, "Oh, you murdered somebody." Or
is she a goth girl?
Well, she did say that she had a goth period as well.
Oh.
Does she have? So she doesn't have a goth period anymore?
I don't know. I'm hoping to find out.
Okay.
Well, you know that's in these days. They call it the big titty goth girls.
That's right.
Yeah.
After about a month, you'll figure out when her goth period is.
See, Patrick, that's probably why you don't have.
Yeah, probably.
I'm trying to help here. You know, I'm trying to help.
You should set up a laugh track, Patrick.
Yeah.
Make a soundboard for the stream.
I should.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. No, I probably don't have any so I don't really like go out to meet people. That's
Patrick. I think you're coming through on a different mic.
No.
You're not coming through that mic.
Hold on.
It's possible.
You some bit.
Oh,
there you go.
No, I think probably part of my problem is I don't go out and talk to people because I don't like doing that. When I'm online, you know, you have your online dating apps and everything. All of my online dating apps say things like they say things like, you know, match with me if you want to overthrow the federal government or shit like that. So I'm like they're gonna like me or they're not gonna like me, and they're probably not gonna like me. So
swipe left if you like the Fed.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's the thing.
Exactly.
like the way I found her was through discussing comic books because
Okay, she's definitely not a girl.
she is. Well, because you know what comic book she wanted. That if there is a girl comic.
No. That's
Yeah, okay.
That's a tranny comic.
Yeah, I'll grant you that. ElfQuest is definitely a girl comic.
Open that up. I want to see this. I've never seen ElfQuest before. So what's this about? Way too much dialogue. What's it about?
Elf. Fucking there are tribes of elves fucking killing people and like hunting.
Killing people?
Yeah, there's people, but like the people are like the bad guys, I guess. And the elves are like littler, and there's orcs, trolls or something or other. Whatever those things are.
That's actually pretty good damn art. Damn.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like it's legit like
She's kind of like the OG indie comic. Like she almost got picked up, I think, by Marvel, but it didn't work out.
It eventually went to Marvel for a little bit, but like they've like retained the rights. Like they were like really like business savvy or whatever you would call them.
Wait, was that page a guy getting an arrow in his fucking mouth? Left page. Zoom in on that. Let me see that.
And his
In his
throat.
throat. Damn. That's a good shot right there.
See, girl comics.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like she's like, okay, so she's like, okay, well, I am looking for a comic, but it's really kind of rare. You wouldn't know about it. And I was like, oh, really? Like, oh.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, rare, like, obscure comic books. Now you're talking my language, sweetheart.
I think I said immediately. I said, "Is this a bet?"
Nice.
Are you betting me? Because I will win. I guarantee I will win.
Yeah, this art is actually like really, really good.
By a lady as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I thought women were bad at everything.
Look, that's perfect. Like
that's a joke. Okay.
What I'm saying, look at that. Like that's just like perfect. That's a troll. You know what I'm saying? Like
more than enough to slaughter your whole stinking race, elf. Yeah.
It's fantastic. And the ones she had the collections, right? These are like the single issues from Warp Graphics. But then there are collections that are colored. She said she's like searching for the collections. I'm like, well, I will. She's like, you have them? I'm like, I have some of the single issues, but I can get you the collection. Like, come on.
Dr. Ben, all the bells went off in his head.
Okay.
She's asking about comics. He's like, this is my chance.
I get it now. I get it now. You're her pusher. You're her ElfQuest pusher now.
Yes.
Immediately.
It was the perfect setup, though, because then you led it into your own comic. You're like, I can tell you something about comics. In fact,
I'm wondering if this is the other thing that's really interesting with this ElfQuest. That's what I'm saying. This is like,
what year did this come out, Dr. Ben?
Huh?
What year did this come out? Is this modern?
No. This issue is 1983.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This stuff is legit. Like, that nose. That is. It looks like it's just like done with like chalk or something.
Yeah. The interiors remind me of the old, and I haven't read the modern ones or even anything past the old ones, but the old Judge Dredd comics.
Oh yeah.
Where there's like it's like a wall of text, a page, but when you get into it and you see the interior art, it flows. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's what I noticed with it. Like it doesn't have like too much text, like you're saying. Like that's definitely some people don't understand that, and that's what I'm saying. It's crazy because this is that's getting a little bit.
Look at that
Much, but that elf like it's all in black shadows, like
yeah. It is so near, you will see it.
I mean,
That was Dr. Ben after he showed her his comic books. He was like,
well, so Friday, you know, that's what I'm saying. Friday, I'm like, I will. Yes, I can get these. I can get these for you. She's like, there. I showed her. She's like, she had a picture of them, like the collections, like I'm saying, right? So like not just these single issues, but like the rare.
yeah.
And so I immediately, I went and acquired them immediately, and then you know, they were being.
Because you're loaded now. Because you've all your riches.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything has come together for this moment.
Yes.
Now, be very careful, Dr. Ben. Next time you see her, you need to make sure that you don't accidentally get into the friend zone. You don't want to end up being her comic buddy.
Oh no,
okay?
no, that's what I'm saying. Like I've been pretty clear, because that's okay. That's what I should explain, right? Yeah, because
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Oh, this is So I had like talked to her. I was getting the comics. They were still on the way to me on last Wednesday. Last episode of Comics Gay Commandos, Dr. Ben's potential lady friend.
That was a great episode.
Thank you.
Also, do not tell her about the streams.
No.
Then obviously, because then she'll be watching them, and you won't have like a place where you can talk about this shit.
Yeah, I'll have to find like secret streams and like fake identities.
Well, I mean, you're not saying anything mean about her, are you?
No, I'm saying.
So what's the problem?
Freckles? Oh my god! You know, I'm just, you know.
I shared my streams with that girl who never talked to me again, and it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh shit!
You need to have a place where you can speak freely.
Yes.
The next day, Thursday, the volumes of Elfquest arrived to the house.
Billy Bobzak says, buy a second house and a computer. Yes.
Have a whole separate life. Like,
do it. He also says, Frederick, you need to show the chainmail dude page that you've drawn. What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's packed because it's going on a trip. I'm going to expo that one in El Salvador next month.
Okay, wait a minute. So back up. El Salvador. You live in Quebec, correct?
Yes.
So now you're going down to El Salvador.
Yes, we're going to fly to Toronto, and then we're going to head down to El Salvador, San Salvador.
I love the humble brag too, because he's like, "Oh well, you know, I'm gonna display that one in El Salvador next month."
Well, thank you, Billy Bob. It's there's a Bitcoin conference happening down there. I don't know if you guys know this, but El Salvador is the first and only country so far that adopted Bitcoin as the main currency alongside the USD. So when you go to El Salvador, you can pay both in USD and Bitcoin. And they have a conference there every year called Adopting Bitcoin. And one of the artists posted on Twitter, okay, we're doing a call for artists. And I'm like, well, I've got this comic and proposed a page from it. And the guy loved it, accepted it. And so that's it. I'm off to the beach.
That's awesome, man. Actually, El Salvador in recent years, as you probably know, went through a transformation with the new president.
Huge.
Right? Yeah, where they got aggressive on crime. They cleaned up the streets. It's like it's become a new haven.
Yeah, they put all the gangs in prisons together, and like if there's members of the gangs that are acting out, then like the gang members inside the prisons like get no food. They got this super strict draconian measures, but they got rid of the crime. They were like one of the worst countries down in Central America. And people like one of my buddies was talking to a guy who had moved from El Salvador to California. And now recently he says the crime is worse in California. So he's moving back to El Salvador because it's safer down there now. So,
oh my God.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I can.
That's crazy.
I can show you the image on the website. He's
Please
right.
bring it up.
So if you go to, okay, I can bring it up.
Also, Carbon flexing his Hispanic knowledge. Thank you, Carbon. He's our local colored person here.
I like to stay informed about what's going on in the world, you know.
Right.
Look,
Not just South America, not
Right.
just Central America.
Yeah, not just the Hispanic speaking country. Yeah, no.
Europe as well, Africa.
Right.
You're the Russian expert.
That's right. Yeah. Speaking of Russia, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. It is in fact another great day to be rooting for Putin, and that's the news I have here. So here you go.
So there we go. So this is my website, ratelcomic.com. If you don't know how to spell Ratel, you can type imakecomics.com. It'll take you there. And I've got a little sample section where I've got some color artwork.
Ooh! Bring up that one on the far right on the top. I want to
This
see
one
that.
here?
Yeah, battle damaged honey badger. Look at that shit. Nice.
Probably going to be a cover. This is an example of some of my colors, but I found a colorist who's even better than I am.
Dude, I like that design a lot, though. The
Thank
gray
you.
and the is it dark blue or is it supposed to be purple or like what's the official color?
Yeah, it's kind of like Batman blue. It's kind of
Okay.
black and white, but instead it's gray and blue.
Right.
Because you want your comic to be bright,
Exactly.
even if it's dark.
I like those orange eyes too, very much.
Yeah, because he's got laser eyes.
Oh, very nice.
And this is one of the pages that's going to be expoed. So this is a prison in Montreal. This is a real prison. And this is where he goes and prays, and the angel comes and takes his fear away. And this is the chainmail that Billy Bob Sack was referring to.
Yeah. I don't see Billy Bob Sack is talking about the chainmail. I'm talking about the wings there. Look
The
at
wings
those
are nice, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Very
I was
nice.
I was even approached by an artist in Germany who does like takes on other art, and he does PCBs, so basically like a computer board, and except instead of making circuit board, he takes your line art and puts it in 22 karat gold, and he did this page as a piece, and it looks really badass.
You mean he beat it into 22 karat gold?
Yeah, I think I could show it.
Please. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this and find the other.
Another great example, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, of a artist / author making a character who he's not ashamed to show that the character, talks to God and is God influenced, like Hojo, who we had before. It's a great. Like I love that's a thing because it's always been it's been a very taboo thing in comic books, especially Western comic books, to show that God, one, is real, and two, the stuff surrounding him is real, and three, that characters can be inspired by God, this force of nature, to do something good. So I love that. That's so cool. I love to see it.
Hold on. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that there it is framed. It's in Amsterdam right now.
Can you grab that? Can you press on that, please?
You do. I'm in
Make
full.
bigger.
I'm already in full screen. It doesn't work. You can't see my full screen. No, for some reason I am in full screen, but it's cutting off. Let me try to find it in Twitter. Hold on.
If you want to send it over to me, I might be able to open it up as a separate image.
I'll do that. I'll do that on Twitter. Hold on.
Sometimes if you open it in like a new window, like open the image.
Yeah, because this is Telegram, so it works a little bit different. But
Telegram is that Canadian X?
No, you guys don't know Telegram?
No, it's an app. Yeah, it's a messaging app where
I'm
also
fucking around.
share media.
I'm just trying to fuck it around.
It's where a lot of illicit activity goes on, actually.
Illicit activity, he says.
And art.
And art.
Which is a form of illicit activity.
Billy Bob Sack says, you will appreciate the chainmail. You have not seen what I've seen from a certain artist.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Sack is like you.
He's my gremlin. He's my co-host on Tuesday's art stream. So
okay.
Yeah, we host together.
What time do you guys start that?
8 Eastern. Yeah.
So that for me that would be 7. I want to say 7 or 9. One of those two.
Yeah, you can always come in later if it's too early for you.
Yeah, if I can come in, are you guys
We go for
open
2 hours.
Okay.
So you can pop in whenever. There, sent you an image on Twitter.
Perfect. The Lord Otter says, "The gremlin imparteth his wisdom."
Yes.
Ooh, this is, oh my god. Okay, so
I
let
haven't
me,
seen it. I haven't even seen it in person yet.
I'm gonna bring this up here. This is beautiful. Oh my god. Look at this. Dude.
Right?
Wow.
So it's kind of got that inverse effect because
Mhm.
the what was the line art? The black line art turns into a gold, 22 karat gold.
Unbelievable. That looks spectacular. Wow.
Dude, that's pretty sick, man. I have to admit, I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was blown away.
See, I don't know what he's talking about, the chainmail. The feathers are what's really blowing me away. The feathers are spectacular.
I don't know why I have to draw every feather. I'm just like, I have
Dude,
to
it
start
looks
drawing
so
like Mignola and do much more shadows, you know?
No, you don't. You can just keep doing what you're doing, and it works just fine. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
And also, is this the Catholic Mass going on in the background here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know Dr. Ben doesn't like that all that much, but
And I gotta, well, he's in prison, so he's gotta go
that's
away.
true. Yeah.
And I just want to shout out Modeotech, which is the name of the artist who did this derivative PCB board. Pretty
Very
awesome.
nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. That's such a that really is such an honor to have one of the pieces you've done made into a form of metal. I know that sounds kind of, I don't know, stupid when I say it like that, but
No, but I mean, for me, it was like a super important moment because I'm doing this project out of nowhere, right? I just decided I was going to draw a comic, and then I went through with it. And to see another artist kind of come back at you with one of your pages is really, it's an honor because it's making art out of your own art. It's a form of validation in a way. And I was super thrilled to see that.
yeah.
And as you say, that page is kind of special because you don't see, prayer leading to anything in comic book stories much,
Yes.
It's always been like nuclear side effects and all that. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. And I love that this modern, well, not modern, but there's a bunch of people now doing this where they're not afraid to show God doing things. And there's always the danger of when people bring God into their comic books, is it going to be blasphemous? Is it going to, is God going to do something superhero-esque, or it's kind of like lame and like, why would God do something like that? And you guys have been knocking it out of the ballpark. You've been doing great work, and you've been being very respectful. And I think that's, I really like that. I love to see that in comic books.
Well, if you notice in media, there's been a little bit of a shift where I believe it's coming back, where people are starting to not be afraid to, well, because for a while being Christian has been mocked, even in mainstream media. And in the last year, it's shifting in the culture war where people are coming out of the shadows. They're not afraid to speak up. And it's a good thing. We need that to save the country.
Oh, yeah. And there's people like you, Frederick and B.A. Turner, who are doing that kind of like on its face. And I hope that people look at my comic books one day and say, okay, well, the main idea, the main ideological thrust behind this comic book was pro-God. I hope they see that. Like I said before, like my comic books are never going to be like, I'm always going to flavor them as like, you have to decide who you think is right and who's wrong. I have my opinions and I could tell you what I think, but I'd rather the audience come to that conclusion on their own. And so I'm glad that there's guys like you out there doing what you do, And so it's very cool to see that. I love that shit so much. He says, I love that shit. Very cool. Well, let me this is the Phenomenal Tales #1 stream here. So let me bring my comic book up again one more time. We're probably going to close out in a little bit here, folks. And by close out, I mean close the stream down. But let me show the trailer here for Phenomenal Tales #1. This is made by Good Stuff. If you guys know who that is, he's actually really wonderful in making comic book campaign trailers. He made mine. He made several people's, but now they're all, I love how that works. They're all just for dropping out of my name the moment I want to talk about who. Here we go. Anyway, here's. Shut up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hold on. "1996, in the frozen mountains of Mongolia, war rages. The Soviet Union and the People's Republic of China desperately vie for territory. Amidst the conflict, a monster of hideous strength leaves a path of brutal carnage. Red Army Command dispatches their finest to stop the beast, Minotaur. Will he succeed, or will he be consumed by this nightmare?" Now funding on FundMyComic.com. So yeah, this is the very first in the Phenomenal Tales line. There will be many more. Don't you folks worry. With Claudio Sepulveda as the artist and me as the writer at the helm, you're going to be seeing a million more of these. And by a million, I mean probably several dozen. A million's a lot. That's a lot. I can't. That would be too much. I'm sorry, that's my autism coming out. Anyway, the folks, we got colors by Peter Gilmore, the CG king of horror, Peter Gilmore, who has absolutely knocked it out of the park with the colors on this, the chromatic editing on this comic book here. And we have the cover here, which is by Peter Gilmore. Obviously, it doesn't say Gilmore down here. It says Quinlan Sepulveda, but it doesn't say Gilmore. The actual cover will say Gilmore on it. I had him edit it so I could have his name on it. So that's going to for sure say that. Then we got Phenomenon Comic Magazine #1, second printing, which this covers by Jimmy Reyes. And if you guys want to back that, that is actually a 36. Technically, it's a 40-page color comic magazine for $20. And for those of you who have already backed this, you will see in the back, at the very back there are biographies for some of the characters. Those biographies in this version, with the Reyes version, there will be 2 brand new original biographies for characters. So if that encourages you at all to buy this third cover over the other 2 covers that I already did, then that's a good, it's another good reason, because I'm going to provide some extra background for the characters involved in the story. So thank you, everybody who, wait a minute. I should have refreshed it. I'm going to refresh it and either be disappointed or happily surprised. But either way, my goal, honestly, folks, for this comic book, I'm going to show you. I will show you what my goal is. My goal is to get it up to the very top here. My goal is to get it up so it's right next to / in front of the Emerald Array and The Embrace. I love The Embrace. This Michael Odin's a great creator, and I love his comic book, and I'm excited for his success. But I'm not excited for John Delrose's success, and I would like for him to fail miserably while my comic book
Oh
just
yeah,
is.
oh yeah, you got to drop him down.
Yeah. So he's at $12,000. My goal for my comic book is 5,000. That's just recouping costs at that point. But I would love to see this random no name from St. Louis just obliterate John Delarose. I mean, everybody would love that, wouldn't they? Come on, we'd all love it. So, anyway, that's my pitch for my comic book tonight. It's, you know what, I completely forgot to mention it. It's $10. Alpha Channel, he's here. He says yes, and he says hail fam. Alpha Channel, did you know that my comic book is only $10 plus shipping, which is $8? So you should probably go ahead and take a look, see what you can do. But anyway, yeah, I hope everybody who can backs it. Frederick Gramont, actually, now I'm just remembering now. It's funny. I've been on a stream with you this whole time, and I just remembered. Frederick Gramont was actually the very first person to back Phenomenal Tales #1, and as such, he will receive some special gifts for being the first person in his package when he receives it in Canada.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to send you one comic book for $30. I felt like I got to send him more. You know what I mean? To make this $30 worth it.
Shipping's I would support way more projects if I wasn't like shipping to Canada all the time. Yes. I swear, man, like I take so many projects down to the cart, and then I look at shipping and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then it switches to Canadian to do the payout. I'm like, oh man, it's $90 for a comic book. I'm like,
yeah,
it's hard to justify it sometimes.
No, it is.
Even Cyberfrog, I got Cyberfrog, the first one of the new series, and I got it because it was secondhand in Canada already. So the shipping cost almost nothing, and I was able to get it in perfect quality. But that's what I got to do.
Well, thank you again. Like I can only imagine what it's like, you know, backing just some guy. I mean, I know you've seen me on streams and stuff, but like I don't think you weren't there for Phenomenon #1, so you don't know necessarily that I'm gonna, you know, hold up to my word and send you a comic book. So I really appreciate you backing and trusting that that's gonna happen.
I mean, I've seen you've done one before, and I saw, I think Carbon, I think you gave him some feedback on that comic during a stream. I saw that. So I was always curious to get my hands on it and read the story, but nice to see you. I didn't know you were going to keep pushing him out like this. That's pretty cool. It's kind of motivating because you never see that in indie comics. I don't think anybody's pushing out books so fast from a writer's perspective.
Yeah. That's the goal. I got to keep people interested. Like, how, you know, people are going to lose interest unless they have something to look at every 3-4 months. So
having one completed definitely makes a difference because now, you know, people could vouch for you. And,
very true.
Also, we got with the review, and it's true. I gave a pretty in-depth review actually of the first book, and there's a lot of potential, and I was honest about it.
Yeah, thank you. I would say I wish you were more harsh. Maybe that's not the way you are. Maybe that's not like maybe you didn't notice things that you could have been harsh about.
I gave some critiques though. I mean, I just worded it gently.
Yeah.
I worded it in a gentle way, but there were things that I pointed out could improve for sure.
I think next time I want both you and Johnny to be like word it as if I was your enemy. You know what I mean? Just fucking shred it, like lay into it, because I enjoy knowing what people think and like the mean parts of what you think. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of nice things to me, but I want to hear like the mean, the dirty, like Carbon's like not happy about this part.
It sounds like you need to hire like a dominatrix to review your comic.
Yeah, kind of, right?
You've been a very bad comic artist.
Right. Whip.
No, I'm capable of being very harsh, as you know.
Oh, I know.
But,
I know.
at the same time, there's a bit of a sentiment of wanting to support each other, though, being that, all of us are trying to create something. Soon, eventually, I will be as well. So it's like we want to kind of encourage everybody in the group.
Yes. And honestly, I mean, what Lord Otter says is not untrue. Like, the criticism does hurt so good. Like, the criticism, okay, you're me, right? Carbon, Dr. Ben, Frederick, you've all been here for this whole Eric July thing, right? So you can see exactly what it looks like when a creator who's got a work, I'm not going to say subpar. It was not good, but just from its outset, it was a work and people criticized it, and that person could not take the criticism. My goal is to simultaneously show those people how wrong they are for not taking criticism, and then also take everybody's free, generally speaking, nearly professional criticism about my work and just like make my work better. I want to be a comic book writer for the rest of my life. So if I'm going to do that, I need to know exactly what people think so that I can set things up so that they're perfect. And I don't have that level of pride that Eric July has. You guys have seen me make fun of myself on stream. I will continue to do so. I just want to know what I can do to make my comics better for people so that they will be encouraged to buy it. I don't care if you make fun of me. It doesn't matter. Like, I've been through enough things in my life that I don't give a singular fuck what other people's opinions of me are. I care what their opinions of my work are, but not of me. So if that makes any sense, like that's kind of where I come from. Like, I'm not afraid of criticism in any way. Katie did says, hey, I won't be able to make it on tonight, but thank you for coming this morning. Thank you, Katie, for having me on this morning. She says, be an asshole. Katie, I don't have any problems being an asshole. She laughed at some of the things that I said. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to. Katie, it's a pure pleasure of mine to be able to go on your stream and to be able to make you say phenomenal tales omnibus and that you failed miserably to say those words. It's fine. Like, nobody's judging you except for everybody in the chat. But like, like, it's cool. Like, we love you.
It's endearing when, especially a woman can't speak properly,
Especially a woman, Carmen says.
Goes into that whole submission thing I'm talking about.
Katie, how do you feel about submission? I
feel right back to the dominatrix conversation again.
No, not to that extent. Not to that level.
Well, we'd have to ask Katie's husband to figure out if it's at that level. Well, you know what? This is an amazing stream. I really, I came on here thinking nobody would join me, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to talk about Diamond comic books this whole time. I feel bad for Catalyst Comics because he wants us to talk about Diamond. But Frederick was here, then Dr. Ben was here, then Carbon was here, and you guys really, like, it really is something not to be underestimated when you're trying to host a show and you have guests on. You know what I mean? Like, it really... The guests really bring life to the stream. And I really appreciate all of you guys coming on. I really, really do. So thank you guys so much.
Sure thing.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Hail Commandos.
Hail Commandos. Yeah. And speaking of which, Frederick, I'm going to send you the link next time. I'm going to add you to the Comicsgate Commandos green room. There's some different... I'm going to add you to the thing. You're going to be there.
Awesome.
So thank you so much. We have in the comments, we have Quapla and Catalyst Vault. See, Catalyst Vault heard me. Catalyst Vault. Okay, I promise you, Catalyst Vault. I swear to God. On the Comicsgate Commandos on Wednesday, when we have Belmont Comics, we will talk about Diamond Comics. Please. And if you have a Twitter and you can message me the article that you read, please do so. If not, I'll go find something and we'll talk about it. So thank you guys so much. And now it's time for me to show the third comic book that I have ready to go. You guys heard about Phenomenal Tales #1. Well, I have another comic book ready to go. And let me tell you, it's crazy. It's called